Recently named one of the 20 to know by Global Cosmetics Industry magazine, David Pollock has more than 20 years of experience in skincare and has created products for some of the most recognized names in the beauty industry. He has a background in product marketing as former CEO of Hydron Technologies, is the founder of Clinical Results Product Development Laboratory, and is vice president of Home Shopping Network and currently sits on the boards of several skincare companies. A consumer advocate who focuses on empowering women to realize their true beauty, David is the author of the book, Just Stop the Lies, which exposes secrets the beauty industry doesn't want known. He is a frequent keynote and guest speaker at several national conferences. It's my pleasure to welcome David Pollock to the Global Freedom Report. David, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You've been in the beauty industry for over 2 decades. How did you become an activist, essentially exposing poison in cosmetics?
It's an interesting story. Like you said, I've been doing products for almost every major brand out there. I've done product development, and often they bring me to answer technical questions with the retailers and the media, et cetera. And I was actually sitting in the office at one of the biggest retailers in our country. We're sitting there. I get to tell my story of how much time we put into the product, how difficult it was to produce, how high level of actives it has in it, and how amazing this product is, and the clinicals. The buyer cuts me off and all of a sudden says to me, "Mama doesn't know. Sprinkle in the active, drop the price, and I'll buy it by the truckload." And I was speechless. I mean, I didn't even know how to react. All I could think of is shame on that retailer. And then it hit me, Mama should know. I want to get out there and tell everybody what some companies are doing. Here we've developed a great product, and this retailer's response to me is, Mama doesn't know, so let's just sprinkle in the active, and I have a problem with that.
Now wait a moment. When that person said that to you, did you at that time, were you aware of stuff that was going into some of the products out there, or were you kind of new to that arena? Did you just start looking into it as a result of what the guy said?
That's a great question. And my first response was I was kind of stunned that people didn't care what went into it. I know some companies cut corners, but I didn't realize some of the bigger companies really did. And it was kind of an eye-opener. There are some chemicals that I would say are questionable, should I be using or not, but I know they got results or they made formulating easy. And this is, so it's a number of years ago, and I started researching it more and more. And then finally, I just said, you know what, enough's enough. I'm going to become a whistleblower. I'm going to get on my soapbox, no pun intended, but I'm going to stand on my soapbox. I'm going to get my message out there, and together the consumers and I can get out there and make a change to the industry, and it's starting. I mean, let's face it, you have me as a guest today, and I appreciate it because there is an interest out there, and people aren't going to tolerate it.
And you just gave me an idea. We're going to come up with some kind of a whistle for a whistleblower sound effect for the show. You just did that. So you've just contributed to the evolution of the show. I remember, how extensive is the problem? I remember the first Batman movie, the one that starred Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson as the Joker. And in the movie, the Joker had poisoned cosmetics. But he didn't say which cosmetics. So everyone stopped using all cosmetics because they didn't know which ones had the poison. Is that kind of where we find ourselves, or is it that there are only certain items that are poisonous, or is there a systemic problem with the ingredients throughout the cosmetic industry?
I'm going to answer probably all of the above. It's a systemic problem, and I don't mean to sit here and bash the FDA because the FDA's got their headaches to deal with. So this is something I think we can handle ourselves, and we're going to talk about it. But in the U.S., the government only bans 11 ingredients in the cosmetic industry, while in most countries, all throughout Europe and several other countries, they have banned or regulate 1,100 different ingredients that have been found to be harmful or even toxic. And that's mind-blowing to me. So it's not limited to one or two brands or just the inexpensive brand or just the expensive brand. It's products that you trust, and the listeners, if they will grab some of their favorite beauty products right now, we'll name some of the ingredients. My goal isn't to bash a brand, but to empower you how to read and understand what you're buying so you can make an educated decision.
When I look at the advertisements for some of the products out there, and I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit smarter or a little bit more educated than, say, many people out there, and I know what that ingredient or this ingredient does, and I'm sitting there saying, my God, we are not only promoting poison, but we're buying it. We're actually going out and spending millions or billions of dollars purchasing poison that we then introduce into our bodies, and it's madness. Every time I see a TV commercial for Botox, I want to scream. I mean, Botox stands for botulism toxin. I mean, you can't be more open in revealing the ingredients, yet women go out and they buy Botox, and they talk to each other about Botox like, it's everyday conversation, and it's this madness. I received a press release, and let me read this portion to you because I'd like your comment on it. This comes from someone who works in the breast cancer unit at Mount Sinai Hospital in Toronto, Dr. Nahid Neiman. Recently, a lipstick brand called Red Earth decreased their prices from $67 to $9.90. It contained lead. Lead is a chemical which causes cancer. The lipstick brands that contain lead are Christian Dior, Lancome, Clinique, Yves Saint Laurent, Estee Lauder, Shiseido Red, Earth Lip Gloss, Chanel Lip Conditioner, Market, America Matney's Lipstick. The higher the lead content, the greater the chance of causing cancer. After doing a test on lipsticks, it was found that the Yves Saint Laurent lipstick contained the most amount of lead. Watch out for those lipsticks that are supposed to stay on longer. If your lipstick stays longer, it is because of the higher content of lead. Here is the simple test you can do yourself. Put some lipstick on your hand. Use a gold ring to scratch on the lipstick. If the color changes to black, then you know the lipstick contains lead. If I was a woman, I'd be frightened by all of this stuff, telling me that the items I have always used to enhance my beauty may be killing me. Now, is that an overreaction, and what are women, and now you're telling me men also, supposed to do?
I'm chuckling. Is it an overreaction? No, not at all. And if you think the lipstick press release was scary, that's scratching the surface. This is products you use every day. There was a report by CBS News, and it said 60% of certain ingredients found in personal care products are absorbed into your bloodstream and accumulate and target organs, okay? They're metabolized by your body. These are ingredients that we have been found to be harmful or toxic. Some of them can cause cancer, okay? These are things, the lipstick containing lead is a part of it. Continue reading that lipstick ingredient label. What about the parabens? Those are your preservatives, and it's considered a food-grade preservative, so it's in some of your foods too, but that's a whole other conversation. So methylparaben, propylparaben, butylparaben, they're at the end of your ingredient list, okay? They're in there, and I'm telling you, there are new preservatives. They're all alternatives, but they're more expensive. So companies continue using. So lead is part of the problem. Let's keep going with parabens. What about PEGs and glycols? These are ethoxylated ingredients, and I'm talking chemical geek stuff here. It's ethoxylated, which is a process, but it's a process that leaves behind something called 1,4-dioxane. And on the FDA website, it says if the product contains certain ingredients, and it lists how to determine them, it can contain 1,4-dioxane, which is a known carcinogen, causes cancer. And the FDA says, we know this, but 1,4-dioxane isn't even listed on the ingredient label because it's a byproduct of a chemical process. So some of the most harmful chemicals don't even have to be listed.
So in other words, you're saying due to the way the bureaucratic regulations are written, it allows for these pharmaceutical companies to not list ingredients that if you knew they were there, you would probably know not to use the product.
That and more in the cosmetic companies, because they are other tricks of the trade. I put together an online magazine. I published a book, as you mentioned. I invite the viewers to check it out. If they do, they can even download a free report. Subscribing to it's free, so I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm trying to get a message out there. And so I I want to promote it. I want to tell everybody what's happening. But let me just tell you some of the tricks of the trade that are even in my book. You'll read about it on my website. And I'm going to say.
Now, are these